Welcome back to another episode of NFT Catcher Podcast. We'd like to remind everybody that nothing on the show is meant as financial advice, and to please do your own research. Thank you, and enjoy the show.
Now the subject is NFTs.
They're known as non-fungible tokens, or NFTs.
NFTs are exploding in popularity.
This is a technology that will forever change the way people interact.
So it is happening whether you understand it and like it or not.
This phenomenon is moving. The digital.
You have now joined Jenny from the blockchain and Michael Keene on the NFT Catcher Podcast.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the NFT Catcher Podcast with me, Jenny from the blockchain, and my co-host, Michael Keene. Today, guys, I am so freaking excited because we have the CEO of Doodles joining us today, Julian. Julian, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jenny. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so pumped because everybody knows I'm a huge fan of Doodles. Obviously, it's the cover of this podcast. It's my Twitter profile pic. Every time I go to events, like that's the photo I use. I even have some stuff to show you. I got to show you my custom Doodle shoes.
Oh, sick. Oh, those are awesome.
And I got to show you my custom Doodle rug.
Oh, man. That is very cool.
Oh, man. Okay, yeah. I'm obviously wearing my Doodle shirt. Guys, I'm all Doodles out today. I know you guys can't see us, but yeah. Oh, I even got my little statue next to me. I got everything. I'm fangirling hard over Doodles right now. So
I love this. I love this. This is a festive episode then. This is great.
Yes, this is the celebratory episode. We still haven't gotten Bored Apes for Michael, but we'll make that happen soon. But yeah, this is a very exciting episode for me. I guess for a little context, I got into Doodles around, actually, I fact-checked it. November 2021 was when I got this Doodle, which I'm a diamond hander, loyal Doodle holder. It's my only one. I didn't have enough money to buy one at the time. The floor was like 1 ETH. And I was like, oh my God, that's so much money. Like that. I've never spent that much on an NFT before. And I had tweeted it out saying like, I'm looking to get into Doodles, but if it dips below 1 ETH, which it never did. And Poopy ended up replying and he was like, hey, I'll help you find your forever Doodle. Like, let's link up. And we ended up trading NFTs, which don't see the NFTs.
Jenny railroaded him.
It didn't work out for him.
Like BYO Pill Crafts or something. She's like trading him.
You know what? Yeah, it was exciting. Like I was obviously Poopy came from Dapper and it's like I was really big into Top Shot. So we kind of knew each other from that. So, but it was super cool. And I felt like honored and like my Doodle is very sentimental to me because he kind of like picked it out. I was like, I just want a purple hair one. That's my only requirement. And then he found that one. I'm like, at first I didn't like it. I was like, hard eyes. I'm not a hard eye type of girl. But then I'm like, oh, but he picked it out. So, okay, I'll go with it. And it's growing on me. And now I use it for everything. So anyway.
That's where Doodles are in the best hands. It's people that really want to hold them and people that love them.
Yes.
I love that story. I didn't know that story.
Well, there you go. Now you know.
You got to ask Poopy what he thinks of his BYO pills and his crafts and stuff. See if he's...
I tried to remind.
I think Poop's doing fine with his NFT.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah. Like yeah, he said that they had set aside a bunch for marketing purposes anyways. So,
It's purple hair is iconic too. My wife has a purple hair Doodle.
Really? Oh, did you guys gift it to her? Or did she have to buy it?
No. So it's funny. I had started doing some consulting for the Doodles way back. Maybe not way back, but probably in January 21. And it wasn't like a real arrangement. It was more like, hey, I'll help you with a couple of things, like throw some Doodles my way. And one of those Doodles was one for the wife, and that ended up being her forever Doodle. But she actually, at Doodle Putt, you could win a Doodle if you hit a hole in one on the 9th hole. She hit a hole in one on the 9th hole.
No, she did?
She did. Straight up.
That was so rare. Barely anybody hit it. Like what? Like 3 people did or something?
No,
13 people did it?
But still,
wow.
There were hundreds of people that played.
Oh, yeah. It was hard. I played. It was not easy, folks. It was a very
But I had to break it to her. I'm like, babe, I'm sorry. I work for the company. You can't win.
What? No. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
wow.
you know
Okay.
what? As long as she hit the hole in one, that was really all that mattered to her, because now she can rub it in my face.
Yeah, you don't need the
Yeah.
CEO's wife winning a free doodle.
No, that may not have looked good.
Yeah.
I guess. Well, yeah, the Doodle events. You guys have thrown such amazing events. I feel like I've been to all the Doodles events. I think I've been to all the Doodles events. So even the JKB one, GC Cat Bay, that just happened in Miami. I know it was more of like a community thrown event, but yeah, a lot of
New York, right?
fun
That was
stuff.
in New York.
New York, yes,
Yeah,
New York.
It's all good. You're all over the place.
Oh, did I
It's
say
all good.
Miami?
You did.
Well, because I was in Miami a week prior, so then I was like thinking.
I just want to make sure, because this is now the second error I heard, because Julian said 2021 when he should have said 2022. But we're all good for when you started doing consulting. But it's all good. We're all just having fun. I'm joking.
Wow, Michael's a fact checker over
just
here.
clarifying.
Okay.
But I'll let you guys keep having your conversation. I'll let you know if anything else comes up.
Michael already knows I'm like taking over this episode. But okay, so first of all, we always like to start it off by asking how our guests got into Web3. So I'd love to hear your story, how you got into Web3.
Yeah, absolutely. Previous to Doodles, I was a media and entertainment executive. So my last role was the president of Billboard. It's a music company. And we had a very big effort at the time in the last few years to try and diversify the business and bring the IP into new business verticals that could create more engagement with our audience, with our fans and followers, new revenue opportunities, etc. I had played around with crypto before that. Like, I had bought some Ethereum and Bitcoin, but it didn't really occur to me how IP could play in the blockchain until I started to become aware of Top Shot. And this is early. This is like maybe late 2020, early 21 when I kind of started to become familiar. I can't remember the exact date. But I was blown away with what that product was. So I started researching it, and it's pretty simple at the end of the day, right? Like, what are people buying when they collect a Top Shot? They're trying to own a moment in time, and they want to be connected to that moment as a fan or as a sports memorabilia collector or whatever. And I saw a lot of similarity into the stuff that I had at Billboard, where the Billboard charts are kind of the definitive ranking in music. And every week there's new accomplishments or new milestones that are minted to the charts. So you'd have Dua Lipa getting her first #1 on the Hot 100. You'd have Drake debuting 3 songs from his album in the top 3 spots of the Hot 100. You'd have Karol G getting her first #1 album on the Billboard 200. And all of these things are like these really exciting milestones for artists. And the only way that those things are celebrated right now, or at the time, was the artist screenshots the tweet or the Instagram post, or they screenshot the chart page, they put it on social, and then the fan comments. It's a really passive kind of engagement. So my idea was, why don't you mint those moments, create a collectible that commemorates them, and then let their biggest fans buy into it, limited edition collectibles. And then also figure out a way where you can do a leaderboard and gamification, so artists now know who the top collector of their moments are, and now those collectors are intrinsically tied to those moments, and they feel a deeper connection, to that period of time. So I started to work with Dapper. I'd met Roham pretty early, and I wanted them to actually build the platform for us, but they were really leaning into sports at the time, but they were willing to consult. So we actually found this team of engineers and product people that had built, a lot of consumer tech that people know of today. And we seeded this company to actually start to build this platform. They went on and raised a bunch of money, got other IP, and they started doing back-end NFT infrastructure for a bunch of companies. And they built Billboard's NFT platform that's called Billboard Chart Stars. And it just got going right when I left for Doodles. But in that journey and trying to figure out what path Billboard had in Web3, I couldn't sleep after that, knowing what this technology was capable of, knowing how it could reinvent a user or a consumer or a collector's relationship with brands or IP. And it was just in that journey of networking and trying to figure out, what Billboard's lane was, that I had met a lot of great people. Like, we did a partnership with Autograph and The Weeknd for, commemorating Blinding Lights for becoming the #1 song of all time. I did a partnership with World of Women, where we used to have this big women in music event, and we basically had World of Women. They did did the art for the commemorative issue. So it was like Madonna, Mariah Carey, and a few other really big artists. And then, again, in that journey, I met Ev, Jordan, Scott, and we hit it off almost immediately. And we looked at the space the same way. We looked at the future of the space the same way. And that's kind of how it all started.
Wow. Okay, cool. So then when you got to Doodles, because I know that Doodles was kind of a small team for a long time. It was I think 10 people. So then, and now I think you guys said that you have 20 people now or something. How did you go from kind of starting out as a smaller team to scaling and building up? And yeah, just trying to really build, because I heard you say on Carly's podcast, shout out to Overpriced JPEGs, that you guys were not focused on getting kind of the people that were doing lower level positions, basically trying to just get a bunch of leaders that can do multiple people's work. Yeah. And I guess how did that whole process go down of scaling the team for Doodles?
Sure. I'll give you a little background. When I had started connecting with the guys, this was early 2022, Michael.
Michael.
This was early 2022. We, the space was changing a lot at that point, where NFT projects were kind of, in the beginning, looked at projects that might need to be managed by maybe talent agencies or art collectives or managers or something like that. And then it kind of shifted pretty quickly into venture capital getting really interested in NFT IP. So you started to see things like Pixel Vault raising $100 million. You started to hear what Yuga was about to do. And it became very clear that I think the one thing that everybody agrees on in Doodles is that the art is fantastic and people could actually see it be something one day outside of Web3. And I think we kind of rode that wave a little bit and understood that there was an opportunity for Doodles to raise a bunch of money and really expand a lot faster than would have been possible, as just a straight independent company. So that was kind of the shift. They went from, NFT project to let's actually go build a company. And that's where I came into the picture, to help them actually build the company. So I started officially in May of 22, but I was doing a little bit of work before that. And my first order of business was really to set up the infrastructure at the company, make sure we were even prepared to scale, executed the fundraise. We raised $54 million. It closed in August of that year, and really just get us set up to go after the goals that we had set out for ourselves. So we put a bunch of positions on the market in September of last year. And those positions were more leadership positions. I think our goal at the time was getting true subject matter experts that could be individual contributors and ultimately grow into bigger roles or build teams below them. But in the short term, just having people that knew how to execute at a really high level and not have to have too much of a learning curve. Plus have some Web 2 experience, but really understand Web 3 and the benefit of the technology, especially within the world of entertainment, IP, games, etc. So we got to hiring, all while building, a few product tracks that we have releasing this year. And in addition to hiring just on the Doodles side, we also were looking at couple acquisitions. And that's when Golden Wolf came to, we had worked with them at NFT NYC last year, but we started to have real conversations about what it looked like bringing our two companies together. So we acquired them officially in January. We acquired an engineering and product team from another tech company that we didn't really make public. So now we're sitting at about 50 employees across the board.
50? Holy fruits. All right.
Yeah. A lot of them in creative, engineering, product, business, admin. It's been a really exciting journey. And most people started in January. So we were still like 10, 11 people, maybe a few more through the end of last year. And most people started in January. Golden Wolf didn't get onboarded in January. So we're literally less than 3 months in of Doodles really operating at full tilt. So it's exciting. People haven't really seen anything yet.
That's crazy. I know. And there's so much we have to talk about too, because literally today, I mean, there's stuff happening in the studio. We got to talk about Pharrell. We got to talk about Doodles too, wearables on flow. We got a lot to cover. But one thing that you just said that kind of stood out to me, like in the beginning, was of how you're like, one thing that everyone can agree on is the art. Like everyone really likes the art. And shout out to Burnt Toast, who is also a twin, just like me. I met him and his twin in person at an event, and they're awesome. So I've always used my face as my identity for the past several years. I've been, on different social media platforms growing, like I had a whole TikTok audience doing all this stuff, Instagram, whatever. And I've just always been about like using my face. I want people to know who I am when I go to events. And even in the NFT space for a long time, like got in 2020, but always just used my face as my profile pic. And it wasn't until I got my doodle that something finally resonated with me, where I was like, I actually want this doodle to be my identity. Like I want this to be my profile picture. Yeah, it was so hard to find something before like that I actually wanted to replace my face with, because I'm like, I want people to know who I am. Why would I want to make it an NFT? So I think that, speaks a lot to the art of Doodles. All right, I want to talk about Doodles 2 wearables, actually, because first of all, I work for Evaluate.xyz, which is a live swapping platform on Flow, where you have the ability to swap your Doodles 2 wearables for free. And a lot of doodle holders have been using it.
I've used it. I've swapped with.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah, I've swapped with holders. It's awesome. I love Evaluate.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, and it's like our roots started from NBA Top Shot. Like I feel like so much started from Top Shot and Dapper. But I like that you guys are on different blockchains. Like you're not just like, obviously the original collection is Ethereum, but Flow I feel like is truly the most new user-friendly blockchain, because you don't have to, like, you can use a credit card, to buy NFTs on Flow, and there's no gas fee, and it's just so much easier for people. So I love that you guys launched wearables on Flow. Yeah. Oh, I guess that wasn't even a question.
No, I think I like, we really like this idea of having parallel product tracks on Ethereum and Flow that sometimes can cross over with each other. And we're building technology that's actually making that possible. So some of the stuff that we're creating on Ethereum and the experiences are portable over to Flow. So like when we did the Genesis box and the duplicator, those were originally Ethereum products, and they just so happened to open up on Ethereum and then ultimately teleport assets over to Flow. Sometimes the original asset on Ethereum would burn and then it wouldn't be there anymore. And sometimes it would, remain because, there's utility beyond that one use case. So we really like the idea of we know we're going to have multiple audiences, right? Like we know we're going to have the hardcore NFT Web3 community that really cares about ownership and decentralization. And we're going to continue to build on Ethereum, specifically with that community in mind. The original collection is still like the most important thing in our entire ecosystem, but we do need a mechanism to onboard new people. And the thing that's interesting about trying to onboard new people is it's not just about like being able to use a credit card or, having an easier process. Like having a familiar checkout process is really the thing that we're going for, because if you're trying to onboard people into the current setup with MetaMask and seed phrases and, until that tech gets better, people are scared of that, right? Like they don't lose the thing that they just paid for. With Flow and the Dapper wallet, you just link it with your credit card and your Google account, just like you would on Spotify or Instagram. Like it's super easy. And in addition to that, the composability from a development perspective, like the product just lived best on Flow. So we really love the two, the combination of the two. You're going to see a few more things on Ethereum hit this year, and then you're going to see us continually add to the Doodles 2 wearable ecosystem. So the Stoodio, yes, it launched today. the duplicator and the Genesis box, they opened up into wearable NFTs on Flow. They're tradable on Gaia. They're tradable on Evaluate. But now, today is actually tonight when it launches, it's the first time that you're actually going to be able to use those wearables on the Doodle character builder. And that all lives within the Stoodio. The Stoodio is like your home base, your account with Doodles. It's going to be home to the entire collectible experience. So our rewards program is going to live in there. The actual character builder is going to live in there. Access to certain experiences is going to live in there. Like everything that you need as a Doodle holder will live within the Stoodio. And the exciting thing is that we're in beta right now, so there's going to be features that are continually added. But the big reveal today is the character builder. So people are going to be able to take their Genesis box NFTs, their duplicator NFTs, put them on their Doodle, and ultimately build the Doodle of their dreams. So the original collection is still like the VIP entity, right? Like you're not going to be able to get airdrops without the original collection. You're not going to be able to get the VIP access at our events without the original collection. You're not going to be able to get access to certain things without the original collection. That will always be the prerequisite. So all the value accrual and the licensing opportunities and the commercial use is going to funnel down to the OG collection. But Doodles 2 is about self-expression. Like you have your Doodle right now, and I'm sure you love a lot about it, but there probably at the time were things that you may have changed. Now you're actually going to have the opportunity to, you have your part of your identity tied to like your very VIP, really high worth asset, but then your Doodles 2 character can be a little bit more of like how you're feeling on a day-to-day basis. Like if it's cold and rainy, you can dress your Doodle up because it's cold and rainy. If it's the NBA playoffs, you could probably dress your Doodle up in gear that's going to represent how you're feeling about the NBA playoffs. The whole point is that you can dress it up, dress it down as often as you want. You're also going to be able to name your Doodle, which is pretty cool. So each Doodle is going to have its own unique name.
Danny from the blockchain, obviously, like nobody better steal that name. Wait, can you have the same name as somebody else?
You can.
Or it's like, you cannot? Oh my God, I need to make sure I secure my name.
You better get, now that you said it too, you better get that quick.
Well, it's not live yet, right? Or it is live right now?
It's going live this evening.
Oh, this evening? Oh, by the time this comes out, it'll be live. Okay, so I'm gonna be this evening like.
No, it's gonna, it's gonna be a lot of fun. People are gonna have a great time with it. And then what you saw today announced is the Pharrell pack. So like the first big collaboration that we're doing is with Pharrell and a curated pack of wearables that he put together. It's with all the brands that he's been known to represent in the last few years: Adidas, Human Race, BBC, and Ice Cream. And the pack is a super, super limited edition pack. There's only going to be 300. The airdrop is on May 5th. There's a few things you're going to have to do as a Doodle holder to be eligible for the raffle. And then once you enter the raffle, 300 lucky people are going to get to take part in that. But what's cool is we have Adidas supporting it. We have Pharrell supporting it. We have all these big brands that have followings way outside of Web3 supporting this pack. And there's also physical items in the pack. So not only are you going to have the opportunity to get like the digital Adidas shoes or the digital BBC Ice Cream skate deck, you're also going to have an opportunity to get a redeemable. So every pack has a physical redeemable. And basically what's inside, I don't know if you saw the news about Pharrell and Adidas partnering on the new Human Race pastel Sambas. It's this new limited edition collaboration. They're coming out this weekend at Something in the Water, and then they go on sale next week. So in every single pack, you have an opportunity to pull one of those pastel colored Sambas. So everybody gets a shoe. Few people are going to get hoodies. Few people are going to get skincare sets. And then 12 people, when you open up the pack, are going to get a redeemable for the green Samba, which is only a Pharrell Friends and Family edition that is not going to be sold anywhere. So we're tied in with this collaboration, this launch. We're creating the digital version of them. We love this idea of using Doodles 2 to bring physical brands into our universe. Like, I don't know if you saw the trailer, but that's the first time anybody ever saw Pharrell's Doodle. First time you saw Adidas as a Doodle, Human Race as a Doodle, and this is just the start. There's more apparel partnerships, there's more creator partnerships, and that's the goal, right? Like bring people in through those massive channels, brand deals, creator deals, music into Doodles too, so they have a familiar onboarding and fun experience. And then maybe they want an original doodle. They learn a little bit more about the ecosystem. They learn a little bit more about self-custody. It's a process, and we think it all ties together.
That is so crazy. Oh my gosh. You guys are like insane. There's so much happening. It's insane. Man, I remember when you announced that Pharrell was like going to be the brand ambassador of Doodles, and everyone's like, what does that even mean? Like, it was at, oh gosh, Michael fact check me. I think it was in New York at the New York event. That's and right. Yeah, it was like the Doodles Holder New York event, and Poopy was like on stage. I think everyone was on stage, and they were like, all right, guys, we have a special announcement. And then like this video rolls out of Pharrell just being like, I'm the new brand ambassador for Doodles. Everyone's like, oh my God. Like, cause Pharrell, he's goated. Love his music. Like, he's amazing. And, you know, it's cool finally being able to kind of see that come to life and everything that's happening with that, everything that's been building behind the scenes.
People were asking for a while, like, what Doodles Pharrell going to pick? What's he going to have as his profile picture? Blah, blah, blah. And we knew behind the scenes what our product vision for Doodles 2 was the entire time.
Yeah. And
we thought that was such a better way to kind of bring him into the universe. Like, think about what Doodles is building right now. Doodles is a very real lifestyle brand right now, right? Like, you rock your doodle. It's part of your social identity. It's part of your identity. You're tied to it right now. You have the statue. You made your own rug. Like, I think I've seen you, like, in your podcast, you've had like the framed your doodle behind you. Like, you live and breathe.
Wow, you're watching my videos. Okay,
I've seen you. I had to do the research before I came on here. I know we follow all the great community podcasts.
Let's go.
So you're living this lifestyle that is Doodles. You engage with the community. You all know each other. You hang out at our events. You come together. So there's this very real world that is Doodles. And we're also building a fictional world of characters that you haven't really seen much of yet. You know some of the characters from the original collection, but like, who's our Woody? Who's our Buzz Lightyear? Who's our Jesse, right? And that fictional world is going to crash into that real world time and time again. Like, we're bringing the two together. And the best.
Who's going to be the main character? Who you got? Who's going to be the main character?
Well, you see the main character's the mascot.
Okay. And what's it? Does he have a name?
Cannot reveal that yet.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Too much alpha today. Too much.
You know the name, but you can't reveal it.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we do. We know a lot more than the name. There's a lot coming. It's okay. It's going to be fun. But
fair.
The cool part is now with Doodles 2, the real world of Doodles they're actually part of the universe. So Pharrell now is part of this universe. Adidas is part of this universe. Other apparel collabs, other creator collabs, like, we're going to bring them into the Doodles universe through music videos, through Doodles 2 collaborations, through short form animation. And what's cool is the fictional characters come into real life sometimes, and real life are going to come into that fictional world sometimes through a lot of different activations, whether it's games, shows, things like that. So the whole idea of Pharrell kind of kicking off that, like, hey, the real world is coming into our universe, that was the thing that we thought was really valuable and impactful. And I think we're making a big splash today. I think this is a really big moment, not just for Doodles, but for Web3 as a whole. In a time where many celebrities have kind of run the other direction from Web3, Pharrell's like the arbiter of culture. Like, he is one of the greatest creators of all time, and he's leaned into Doodles. Like, that's pretty exciting.
Yes.
The celebrities have run pretty far from NFTs, haven't they? Taking a little tangent there.
Yeah, no, I think it's because last year was a really interesting time in NFTs. I mean, yeah, it got us on the map, but I think people made a lot of mistakes. I think people were in it for the wrong reasons. And it was less about the technology and more about kind of the speculative financial rewards that were being tossed around all over the place. And artists and, movie studios, they were all jumping into the space just because they're like, ooh, another shiny thing to sell. And it was not, it was kind of disingenuous. It just, it didn't come off right. And I don't think that stuff is really going to age well. And I think the people that have taken their time to actually learn and build and take like a slower approach into this space are the people that will ultimately endure. And yeah, I think a lot of people are not leaned in right now because everybody was an expert last year, when in reality, there are so few of them in the world, that I think you're going to see a whole new wave of things that are coming. Like last year was a lot of promises. I think you're going to see a lot of products this year.
I hear you. I was even talking about, like you're saying, even as creators, the celebrities have left. I was even talking about as collectors, because a lot of them drove a lot of the hype, and they're kind of embarrassed about being an NFT. I'm sorry, my son's right behind me. I don't know if you guys could hear him.
I know the vibe. I have two myself. Yeah, once prices recover and clout is reestablished, I think you'll see a whole new wave of that again, right? Like that's what drives that normally.
To bounce off of talking about price action, because we saw Doodles obviously go all the way up to a 20 ETH floor in the bull market.
25, I think.
25? Okay.
Did it get that high?
Checker.
Yeah, I'm going to look. I'm going to go look.
Something like that. Okay, yeah, you go look. Is that something you guys talk about internally at all? Or are you kind of like, you know what, the secondary market, that has nothing to do with us. That has to do with, people setting their own price on what they want to sell it for. I mean, yeah, how do you guys kind of deal with that internally? And the pressure of like, it needs to be valuable. Like everyone being like, my JPEG is decreasing in value. Like, how are you going to pump my bags?
Yeah, I think we are not going to let a floor price of our original collection define who we are as a brand and as a company. It's not something that we don't pay attention to, of course. It's something our holders care about, so it's something we care about. But we can't let short-term hits of confidence dilute our longer-term vision. So we're going to do things this year that we believe are going to improve sentiment within the community. Like the Pharrell pack is a good example. It's free, right? We can't give out 10,000 of them, but we can do 300 and make them free. And that is just the start. There's a lot more of that coming this year. So what we want to do is not increase the floor price through speculative behavior and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Like, we've told everybody what we were going to do, and we have not wavered from it since we announced our new vision at NFT NYC. And what you're going to see this year is the original token getting more and more valuable to the extent that people care about what we're doing as a company and what it means to be a holder. So if you like the Pharrell pack, there's more of that stuff coming. There's more of other things coming as well. There's the Doodle Bank revamp, right? Where you're now actually, like, take you as an example, right? NFT Catcher podcast. So you all are creators in the space that are, that undeniably like drive more attention to the space and drive more engagement. The Doodle Bank is a format now where you can actually approach it to say, hey, I need some funding to go build into this area. Maybe I want to do what Carly just did and do a tour and bring the podcast live around the country and get sponsors and set up infrastructure, whatever it might be. The Doodle Bank is now, it has to get approved through the community council. But not only are you actually going to be able to get support in building that vision for yourself as a creator, you're actually going to be able to get funding for that. And that's a really interesting concept when you think about content creators in our space, when you think about entrepreneurs that want to use our IP to actually bring businesses to life. There's a lot of talk about, hey, we can only monetize our NFT up to $100,000. The Doodle Bank is actually going to solve that, where if you get a proposal passed, that $100,000 is going to be immediately lifted. And not only are you going to have freedom to explore the business that you want to explore, you're also going to have it funded by Doodles and potentially support from the team. And if the business that you're thinking of aligns well with our roadmap, you might even get like integration into our company plans. Like, all of this is case by case. But the point is we have a $5 million fund that we're going to disperse to the community to use for businesses, for more creator opportunities, for rewards, things that people really want as part of the NFT. Like if you want us to go sponsor the Weekends tour or go sponsor like every Lollapalooza across the country, like convince the community that's a good thing for all holders, and maybe we'll pass that and go use some of the money for that. So what we're really trying to do is create like true tangible value and not just like giving more free NFTs to people, right? Like we really want holding the original NFT to mean something, and ultimately have the community through the Doodle Bank and through some of the other narratives that we're building to truly build this world with us. So that's kind of how we look at it, and we think if more and more people vibe with what we're creating, yeah, of course they're going to want the thing that's like the golden ticket in the ecosystem, right? Like a lot of everybody that's like a American Express card holder, they think about what it would be like to be a Black card holder. Everybody that has a loyalty, status with American Airlines, they think of what it would be like to be a concierge key member. People think about what it's like to be a Soho House member, et cetera, et cetera. If we can actually build an ecosystem that has demand, people are going to want to be one of the only 10,000 people that have, like, again, the golden ticket.
100%. And yeah, I resonate with that a lot, because for me, it's like, the number one thing I like about Doodles is the events, like just being able to meet other people in the community. Like that's priceless to me. Like being able to network with other like-minded people that are in the same community as you and be able to develop relationships and like build out your network. Like that's the number one thing for me. And I think people kind of forget that it's like, it first of all, if you're a long-term holder, then the price shouldn't even matter to you, because, you have to think about, well, what are the benefits? What is the reason that I even bought into this project? And really the price is just like the price you're paying to get in, to be able to like access all this stuff and like unlock all these perks and whatnot, unless you're a trader, which I think a lot of the traders and the speculative buyers and sellers left, which is why prices have gone down, because there's not as much like turnover and not a lot of flipping happening as much. But I think that's a good thing. Yeah.
Well, we want this to be like if you hold season tickets to like the Dallas Cowboys, like, and you can't, like, you have to be on a wait list for years to even get tickets, and then like they're grandfathered from family to family and they're passed down from generations. Like that's what we want this original NFT to be like. We want it to have so much utility for people that like they never want to get rid of it, and they want to pass it down to their kids and their grandkids, et cetera. Like we have so much work to do to get to that point, obviously, but that's the grand vision. And I think like the emphasis on events is really important, because you're talking about bringing people together to like, I've noticed that within the Doodles community, like the people really come together, people really have fun together, and then they go and communicate with each other in these digital ecosystems and environments. And if we can continue to do that at a high level, like think about last year, South by Southwest is one of the biggest cultural tentpoles in the world. Art Basel, same thing. Not like, I don't know how many of our holders had access to those festivals before, let alone like the biggest events at those festivals. Like our event at South by and our event at Art Basel were two of the hottest tickets in the entire.
Yeah, like, y'all made waves with that.
We did. So not only now do you have access to like the biggest event at some of the biggest cultural tentpoles, you're also like the VIP there, right? Like not Kylie Jenner, not, Odell Beckham Jr., like Doodle holders are the VIPs there. And we want to be able to deliver that time and time again. So that's what's happening this weekend. It's Something in the Water. We're doing a big activation, and 50 Doodle holders actually were able to get VIP and ultra VIP passes. And what we want to do is be able to bring that kind of experience. We're not going to be able to do it every weekend. We're not going to be able to do it, but a bunch of times throughout the year, plus anchor this big, this is a little alpha. I think I've said this a couple times, but this big this flagship retail experience that we're launching this summer in a very big city in America. Like as a Doodle holder, you're going to be able to go there.
Miami.
It's It's not Miami. It's not Miami.
Okay.
I can't say where.
Michael lives in Miami. That's why he's just like Miami.
There's more coming to Miami, but this one's not in Miami.
Wait, a retail experience? Like what is that?
It's gonna be like an immersive, like playing shopping experience. Like
East Coast or West Coast?
Neither.
It's not in the. Is it in the U.S.?
Okay.
It's not in the U.S.
I'm done.
It's either Chicago or Texas.
I'm not.
It's either
Wait,
Chicago or Texas right
Julian,
now.
come through.
I know. It's either Chicago or Texas. That's what I mean. I can almost guarantee that now.
Wait.
All I'm saying is it's gonna be a blast. It's gonna be family friendly. It's gonna take you into the world of Doodles, just like South by did, just like Art Basel did. And
you said it's this summer?
This summer, yeah.
That confirms Chicago then. That confirms Chicago.
Why does that confirm Chicago?
Why does that confirm Chicago?
Because it's nice there in the summer.
It's nice in so many places.
I'm trying to get some alpha here, Jen. Help me out.
Okay, summer. All right. Just my birthday's July 1st. So just like don't make it like then, so that I can come to it.
Okay, we got you.
Yeah, that makes sense why you said you're in Virginia right now, because something in the water. I just looked it up. I hadn't even heard of that. And I love festivals. I go to festivals all the time.
Yeah, it's Pharrell's festival.
Okay. Got it. Oh my God, that makes all the sense now. I'm going to Bonnaroo. That's my
Bonnaroo's sick. I love Bonnaroo.
Are you? I went to the first Bonnaroo.
Did you? First one ever?
Wow, really?
Yes.
Jeez, how old are you?
I'm 43. I'm 43.
Bonnaroo is great. I
went to the first one. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, Billboard took me to a lot of festivals. I haven't been to this one yet, so I'm actually excited.
You're going to this upcoming Bonnaroo?
No.
Something in the water. Right.
Yeah, we got a little rain right now, but I think they're opening it up later on. And yeah, we have a big activation. It's like an immersive merchandise shop called Doodle Beach. You're also going to get a first look at the Doodles 2 product. So we're actually going to start to test out like what does it look like to bring a normie into a digital environment, and do they have interest in like creating Doodles 2 characters? So, with no context, it's going to be really fun. And this festival is incredible. Pharrell also has this charter school called Yellow. It's a nonprofit organization. So a bunch of the proceeds that we get from the shop are going to go towards that school. And yeah, it's going to be a good time. We designed all of this activity around the Stoodio, Pharrell, Adidas, the P-Pack, all to launch this weekend. So there was a lot of hype around what we were doing.
Wow. Are there any events coming up that we should know about? Like any other pop-ups or anything like that, like in the works that you can share?
We will show up in the summer. That's all I'll tell you what, the activation we designed this weekend, we built it so it can easily travel. It basically it's these two massive storage containers, and it basically stores everything in those storage containers so it's easy to ship. And the whole intent there was that we can bring this experience to multiple locations in a really seamless way. That wasn't really the case with like South by and Art Basel, because those were like built specifically for the places that we were. So we're getting a lot better at like reusing things for multiple use cases, and we know the community wants.
Yeah, what did you do with your old, like for South, like the stuff that like, okay, you weren't able to reuse it? Like, what did you do with it? Did you sell it? Did you just did somebody like take it home?
No, I mean, yeah, some people have some stuff, but no, we hold it. We have a storage facility, and we will be able to use it for certain things. Like physical and retail are going to be a really big point of emphasis for us. So all the stuff that we fabricated is reusable. Like we use some stuff from South by at Art Basel, and then some of the stuff that we used at Art Basel, you'll see in this flagship retail location that I'm talking about. I think like it's really just about getting better at like reuse, and that that's something we're thinking about.
Awesome. Michael, do you have any more questions? Because I know we wanted to do our gas wars segment.
Yeah. Well, first off, I saw you guys are about to hit 400,000 Twitter followers. That's pretty cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What else? One thing I wanted to bring up was Golden Wolf, the acquisition of Golden Wolf, the animation studio that you guys did, and you said 30 people came from them.
Yeah, 30, 35, 32, something like it. Yeah,
cool.
About 34 people.
What's like the content that we should expect to see kind of off the bat? Like, I was looking through the Twitter. Is it kind of the animations they're making on Twitter? But like, I'm sure they're doing something like big. What should people expect? So
the big strategy for us is evergreen content on social, like doing a lot of brand building content. So a lot of the stuff that you've seen, what we want to do is create content where people are scrolling through their timeline and it just like stops them in their tracks because it's like such a vibe, right? Like it's escapist kind of content. There's music. It's like, it's a vibe looking at the content. So we want to elicit that kind of feeling on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube Shorts, and then obviously use Twitter for official updates, community engagement, and things like that. The Pharrell trailer and the Doodles 2 trailer that you saw today, those are going to be more tentpole driven. So around big product launches and collaborations, you're going to see more stuff like that. And then the third layer is long form content development. So the story behind the main character, what are the rules in our universe? Who are the supporting characters? All of that is in development right now, and Golden Wolf is leading the charge there. And the thought or the goal there is to actually bring that to a more linear format. So like streaming television or cinema. But before that, you're going to see a ton of social content that's just going to, people in and out of Web3 are going to love to engage with. That's really cool. Yeah, that's a good move to bring a team like that in-house. Art creation is tough, and having them in-house is really smart. Yeah, and they're like, they've been able to interpret Scott's ideas and IP in such an interesting way and like almost bring it to life in a new way. I think the value of having Golden Wolf goes over a lot of people's heads because they're Emmy nominated one, like they do work for Disney, Adult Swim, Universal Pictures, like they're as big as it gets. And their sweet spot is like that evergreen content that just makes people want to come back for more. Like I forget what their line is, but it's it's just like, it's like delicious content for the timeline. You just want to keep coming back and back and back. And having that be a part of Doodle's everyday content strategy it's going to be a superpower. I don't think anybody in Web3 quite has anything like it. That's what's up. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, one more. The only other thing I have is, I don't know if you probably didn't notice, but Star-Lordy, the CEO of Oniforce, I'm not sure if you're friends with him, came on the pod a few weeks ago, and none of us actually had Oniforce, and he was so nice to give all of us an Oniforce.
Michael, come on. Michael's trying to
you don't have anything to live up to. No. It's no big deal. I mean,
Michael's
you don't want to
be second
can you
send me a doodle?
CEO, but Julian's like, Jenny's got a doodle. I mean, we don't. That's all that really matters, honestly. That's true. We need the doodles for rewards and stuff, man. But I know you do. There's something we can do. I don't know. I know. No. I know you do. I've been close a lot of times. It was funny when Doodles was on its way up the first time. Remember, it was 3.5, Jenny, and I said on the podcast, I'm looking to get one.
Yeah, the amount of times I've told you to buy one.
I know. Now it's time. It's 2.34. It definitely is time. I probably should snag
one. Yeah.
Check out Doodles too, also, and maybe that after you. This is what I think. After people do Doodles too, there's no way they're going to be able to not want an OG. Right. Yeah, I'm always impressed when I hear you speak. I've heard you speak a bunch of times now, Twitter Spaces. I did listen to the interview with Carly, and that is really one of the reasons why I do think this project is going to do really well. One of our past guests, who I really respect, says that this is the project that's going to make it out of a lot of the ones.
Who said that?
Kind of Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Remember I said that last week.
We know Mac well.
Yeah, love Mac. Yeah, he loves the Doodles, but he's like, that's the one that's going to do it. That's the one that's going to stand the test of time. So, yeah. So I do believe it, and you do a good job. I definitely like, you represent very well. So it's good stuff. If you ever need a director of vibes, you have the perfect one. sitting right over here.
Me?
She's like so yes.
Director of
It's like so perfect for Doodles. One day, director of vibes.
Well, we want. I mean,
because you know that's what the community says. They need somebody on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and you're like I don't know if you've seen just leading up to the launch of the studio, like Evaluate's been a big part of the subculture in Doodles lately. Like when I did it, it was like it reminded me of, and I might be aging myself a little bit here, but it reminded me of when I used to trade like Pogs and baseball cards with my friends, and it was just fun. Like one of the guys I was trading with, he's like, would you be down to give up your hollow socks? And I was like, nah, I gotta hold on to those. Like it's but like I'll do this. And like it was fun. It was really, really fun. And I know, and I've seen you, Jenny, get involved in and kind of like trying to help push that out. And you've been a constant supporter of the Doodles community. So it's been we definitely see it and we appreciate it. And we hope that you think of some good ideas to bring to the Doodle Bank, because
I gotta think about stuff.
We think it's gonna be it's gonna be special.
Yeah, we threw an event in we did like a swap party in the Doodles Discord a couple weeks back. That was really fun. And
I popped in and nobody knew I was in there.
No,
for like 4
so
seconds.
I literally saw you, but then we were in the middle of something, and then I later was like, "Oh my God, you guys know Julian was in here, right?" Like, but then you had already left at that point. But I did see you pop in. I was like, "Oh my God, Julian's in here."
Yeah, it was winding down, so I was like, "All right, I won't bother anybody." I popped out.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that you guys have the Doodle Bank and everything, and I love that there's an opportunity there. Like, okay, if I ever really did want to do something, like I feel like, okay, I could really go for it. It's just kind of a matter of like going for it and, deciding to do something. But I feel like I have to shout out Juicy Cat Bay. Like they were on the pod recently and I love that they really go for it. And, them throwing an event in under they had like 2 weeks or something, like after getting approved by the Doodle Bank, like that's just insane. And
they're down here this weekend, actually.
Really? Oh my God,
yeah, they're like live covering the festival and like helping onboard normies. It's going to be, they've been awesome. Like you, them, TGID, like Sushi, like all these Art Dude, all these people. JJ Pencils has been doing incredible art on the timeline lately. Like we want more of this and we want to support. So, yeah, the vibes have been good.
The vibes have been good. Let's go.
I'm off topic, but you guys have a really good lineup this weekend. It's Something in the Water. Mumford and Sons, Lil Wayne, Skrillex, Wu-Tang. It's not too bad. That's not too bad.
Let's go.
Wild. Yeah.
SWV. I can't believe they're touring.
Third Eye Blind. Right.
Yeah, I know. That was when I was at Penn State my freshman year. That was when their album like Semi-Charmed Life and they were like the biggest band.
Yeah,
them and Sublime. Sublime and BC Boys.
Love all that actually,
Yeah.
but they have a really diverse lineup too. There's this really hot Latin artist Fade, he actually has a show in LA tonight that my wife is going to, but it's funny. Jenny from the blockchain. I obviously that's like homage to J-Lo.
Yes.
My name is Jennifer, and her whole thing growing up was Jennifer Gomez. Everybody called her J Go, so she also has that little homage to J-Lo. So it's kind of funny, but it's gonna be a good weekend. We're gonna have a lot of fun.
Let's go.
Awesome.
So we have kind of like a rapid fire, just quick, short answers. We call it Gas Wars because, I don't know. Why do we call it Gas Wars? We just started this.
Because of the web. Because of the web. We can call it whatever we want. Right. No, mainly because I'm full of hot air.
All right.
Entendre.
There we go. So, Michael, do you want to go first?
Sure. Favorite travel destination?
Whoa. Either Italy or Colombia.
Very nice. Been to both. Love them both. Go ahead, Jenny.
Favorite blockchain?
Oh shit. I don't know. I'm gonna go with our two favorites, Ethan Flow.
That's two, but okay, fine. We'll let it slide.
That's a crazy question to ask me right now.
He's got to be a politician.
Yeah, right.
Best concert you've ever been to?
Red Hot Chili Peppers at Jones Beach Amphitheater. If you've never been to the amphitheater, it's the stages in the water. It's incredible.
Okay.
Beautiful. I'm familiar. Go ahead.
What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
First thing I do, check on my kids normally.
Dad life.
Dad life.
Tell my kids, give me 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
What do you like to collect?
I mean, I've been on a Doodles 2 wearables spree this week, but what do I like to collect? I mean, I've collected like figurines and statues from like brands and IP that I've loved over the years. So like I had a lot of like Funkos and original, like I used to collect like when I was a kid, like wrestling dolls and things like that. But yeah, and then sports memorabilia, I have quite a bit of that, baseball cards and things.
Who's your squad? Who'd you grow up rooting for?
Yankees. I'm a Yankee fan.
Okay, I'm a Phillies fan. Yeah. Okay.
I went to school in Philly, so I have a soft spot for Philly. I was there when they won the World Series. So
yeah, you were. No, that was amazing. And then you guys beat us the next year.
Yes, we did. That was it. One and only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you an introvert, an ambivert, or an extrovert?
Is ambivert in the middle?
Ambivert's like both. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say I'm in the middle. I'm good at being an extrovert, but sometimes I kind of default to just wanting to be on my own. But I'd say I'm kind of down the middle.
Okay, me too. I'm an ambivert.
All right. Punks or apes?
Oh.
Dude, man.
Not to start any drama or anything. Hey, they're owned by the same. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
Well, it's the community that'll come after them when they hear it. It's not the brand.
I like them both, but I'm gonna go punks on that one.
All right.
What's a book that changed your life?
Great question. Creativity Inc. by Ed Catmull. It's the origin story of Pixar, and we actually give it to every new employee that starts at Doodles. Wow. Because we believe we're on a similar journey. There's this new technology that's being developed that is ultimately going to change the way people interact with brands and characters and stories and fall in love with them in all different ways. And that's what Creativity Inc. actually showcases is Pixar is not the story of Toy Story and Woody and Buzz. Pixar is the story of a group of people that worked on technology for 20 years before it ever came to market. The technology made Toy Story possible, but Woody, Buzz, Jesse, all these characters, they made the adoption of this new filmmaking technology possible. So it's a really incredible book that I think inspires our team a lot, and I'm sure inspires a lot of people across entertainment. And IP building, but I love that book. It totally changed me. And you asked for one. I gave you one.
Okay.
Nice. And last one, favorite movie.
That is such a hard question. I feel like people watch so many movies that favorite movie is so hard.
I mean, I have like I have a few, but no, my favorite movie is Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway.
Okay.
It's great. I'm a big sci-fi nut. I take my kid to Kennedy Space Center to see rocket launches. I'm like crazy about all that stuff. So I like thinking about what the future might look like. Interstellar like blew my mind. I love that movie.
Do you think there's aliens?
There can't not be.
Facts.
Do you think they come here? Do you think they've been here?
Maybe.
Have you seen those UFO videos?
Do you get into all the? Oh yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of. I mean, the government's like half admitting it right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, could they like be here? Could maybe, honestly, maybe. But
disguised as humans.
Yeah, could
shoot,
be.
That's crazy.
I just know that there can't not be. We can't be.
Right. There's other life.
Can't be the only game.
That wasn't even my gas horse question. Okay, my last gas horse question. Me sneaking in an extra one. What's the first NFT you owned?
World of Women, actually. I bought one for my wife for her birthday just to kind of like really get into it. I did so much learning in 2021. I never really got into like buying and trading or anything like that. And I think it was, I don't know, I want to say like September or August or something like that. I think it was like September because they minted it in August. And I bought my wife one, and that kind of like started my NFT ownership journey.
Let's go. We love a first NFT as a gift. That's great. All right, I guess that concludes our Gas Wars questions. Thank you, Julian, for coming on. Like, I know we tried to do this last year and it didn't end up happening, but I'm so glad that you're finally here on the pod and around the time of the Stoodio launching too. So very exciting announcements. Lots to talk about in this episode. This was super fun. And yeah, we appreciate you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. Keep doing what you're all doing. I'm a big fan. We're all big fans of Doodles, but really appreciate the time. And it's awesome because, yeah, the Stoodio's launching tonight. We're doing a Doodle sesh at 6 p.m. We're going to celebrate the launch. We're going to be rocking everybody's Doodles, creating Doodles together. Come join if you have time. But yeah, thank you.
Sweet. I'll be there. All right. With that said, thank you everyone for tuning into this episode. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Thank you for tuning in to the NFT Catcher podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and learned something new about the exciting world of NFTs. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And if you really love what you're hearing, please leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. If you want to stay up to date with the latest news and insights from the NFT space, be sure to follow us on all the socials at NFT Catcher Pod. You can follow Jennifer at Jennifer_Pseudo and Michael at NFTicket. I'm your producer, Andy, and I'm at AJC254. Our theme song's by It's Just Los. We always appreciate your feedback and support, which helps us reach more people and bring you informative and engaging content about NFTs. We look forward to bringing you more great NFT content in future episodes. Thanks for listening. Peace.